All right, my friends, so today we are going to be scientists. Before we can do that, we need to remember what it means to be a scientist. So there are 3 things that we talk about when being a scientist. So let's say them together. Ready? Scientists are
curious,
scientists are
safe,
and scientists are
respectful.
Good. Who can show me what it looks like to be respectful when you have something you want to say? What do you do? Good, you raise your hand. Good. What if you agree with something that someone is saying? Good. What if you want to build upon what they're saying? Good. So let's remember what it means to be respectful when we're having a scientific discussion. So today we're going to talk about 2 important words. These words are float and sink. Who would like to raise their hand and tell me, what do you think float means? What does it mean to float? Sophie?
That it stays on top of the water.
Ooh, so if something floats, it stays on top of the water. Good. Okay, so if float means that it stays on top of the water, what do you think sink means? Who wants to tell me what sink means? Oh, you do. What does sink mean?
A rock can sink.
A rock can sink. So what does a rock do? If it's sinking, what does it do?
It goes underwater.
It goes underwater and it falls
On the ground.
Good. So if something sinks, it will say it goes to the bottom. Okay. So, thinking of these words, excuse me. Thinking of these words, float and sink, we are going to look at a few objects. And we're going to ask ourselves, do we think it's going to float or do we think it's going to sink? So, I have a Q-tip. Ooh, I have a rock. Oh, and wait a minute, I have a rock. That reminds me of something Yadira said. And I have a hair tie. Okay, so let's see. Angelique, you've been sitting so nicely. Which one would you like to do first?
I want to do the rock.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen to the rock?
I think it's going to float.
Ooh, so let's see. Show me, do you agree with Angelique? Okay, see some people agreeing. What do you think, Amanda?
I think it's going to sink.
Okay, should we test it out? Okay, let's see, ready? What did it do?
Sunk.
It sunk, good, it sunk, nice. Okay, what about the Q-tip? Who wants to tell me, what do you think is going to happen to the Q-tip? Amanda?
I think it's going to sink.
Gonna sink? Does anyone agree? Okay. What do you think, Yadira?
Maybe float.
Maybe float? Okay, should we see?
Oh,
what do you see?
It looks like it's floating.
It's floating, good. So, let's do our hair tie too. Okay, what do you guys think? You can say it out loud. What do you think is gonna happen to the hair tie? Float or sink? Okay, here's some floats, some sinks. Let's see. Oh, I was surprised by that one. I thought it might float. Look at that. It sunk to the bottom. Very interesting. So, the reason why we're talking about floating and sinking is because I want to tell you about an animal. This is a very cool animal. This is an animal that neither floats or sinks. It just stays in the middle. And that is called a plankton. Raise your hand if you've heard of plankton before. Ooh, okay, I see some people. Okay, we're gonna look at a few pictures. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass the pictures around. I want you to take a look at the pictures. Think about what you notice about the plankton. What do you see? Maybe different parts of their body. I'm gonna pass it around.
Is that a finger?
It does look like a finger, yeah. I think the plankton was on top of the finger.
This one looks like little strips on my knee. Yeah, that one does look like a shrimp. Is that a finger?
What do you think?
Look like teeth.
Yeah, I'm thinking that one might have a finger. Angelique notices something that maybe looks like teeth.
does look like teeth.
I see that too, Angelique. Okay, so now I want you to turn and talk with your partner, and I want you to tell your partner, what did you notice or observe about your plankton? And maybe if you have a question about the plankton, you can tell your partner that. Ready, set, go.
I don't know about that, man.
Oh, you know what, yes, go ahead and join this group here.
I noticed that the plankton looks really big. Until it showed the picture where it was on the finger. So I wonder if it's actually small or big.
All right, turn back to me in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Sorry. Today, we are going to become plankton experts. And in order to do this, we're all going to have a very important job. So not now, but later, we're going to work in groups to design our very own plankton. But we can't do that if we don't know a lot about plankton, right? We have to learn about plankton first. So what you'll do is you're going to go to a special center and you're going to become an expert in something about the plankton. And then later, you'll get the chance to be a teacher for your classmates. You get to be the teacher and tell them about everything that you learned. Sound good? Give me a thumbs up if that sounds good. All right, good.
Okay, then Catherine and Vital and Yadira that are in the first center, you are going to classify the animals. What that means? Somebody knows what classifying means? Somebody can tell me? Yes?
To put them in groups.
Yes, good job. Yeah, I see. People agree with that? Yeah. Classifying in groups, and then we have 3 groups. We have sharks, okay. We have sharks. We have seahorses right here. Horses, I think that's what it's called. And we have plankton. That plankton is the main character of the day. So you are going to have some pictures and taking turns. Each person take a picture, and then the next person, and then the next person. You are going to put each picture in the category that it belongs. So anybody have a question? Questions?
Are we working together as a group, or are we just doing one picture each?
You are a group because remember we are a community and we are going to learn together. So we are going to put the pictures, right? But everybody needs a turn to do that. And at the end, we are going to have a conversation. What do you think those animals have in common? And what was the other question? How their body parts help them to move and to go through the different places, or to sink, flow, or just stay in the water. Then, yeah, that's the center activity. Anybody have another question? Somebody? No? Show me thumbs up if you're ready to learn. Okay. Let's see.
Yadira has a cell phone out.
Good. I'm gonna take it and I'll give it back to the end of class. Okay, so our second center that we are gonna be doing is gonna be like remember how we did the sinking? We showed it this sunk or float earlier at the beginning of the lesson. So what we're gonna do is we have all of these other things over here. So we have the original rock and Q-tip and hair tie. So if you want to see all of those again, you guys can. But we also have some foil, and we have a balloon. With the balloon, I think that maybe we're gonna have you not put your mouths on it, and you can just see if the balloon itself floats, because we don't want to spread COVID or anything like that. There's a what's this called? Pipe cleaner, a spoon. These are called pipettes, so you can fill it up with water. of squirting water. And then there's a straw and a sponge. Yay. Some pennies and a cup and some, this is the last thing, popsicle sticks. So, what you guys are gonna do is you guys will decide what you wanna put in. You'll talk about whether or not you think it's gonna sink or float. And then you'll put it in, and then you'll test all the different things. And then at the end, you guys will talk together about why you think something sunk or float and what you think makes an object sink or float. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay, and so, oh, yes.
Can we put all of them in at the same time, or do we have to put it one at a time?
I think one at a time because it's not a very big container. Also, with the container of water, do we hit the container? Do we take the container and dump it over our friends' heads?
Just kidding, sorry.
You're fired. Do we drink it? So we need to remember curious, safe, and respectful. Everybody's going to be using these things, so you need to be respectful. So back to whether or not we do them all at the same time, we're just going to do one thing at a time. And then you can just use the spoon to dig the little things out that sink to the bottom. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So then the third center is we're gonna watch a read aloud of this Magic School Bus. Magic School Bus. What is it called? Where is it? Oh, it's called Ups and Downs. So it's a video that Miss Frizzle takes her students on a trip, and they're taking the school bus and they're trying to get down to the bottom. So they're testing on different things to see if it makes the school bus sink or float. So they're gonna watch that, and then we're gonna do a collaborative board where at the end you're gonna take Post-it notes. And then you are gonna write on the Post-it notes, on the Post-it notes, you will write what makes things sink or float. So, based on what you see in the video, what do you think makes things sink or float? So you're gonna write on a Post-it note and post on the board, and then you guys are gonna talk about it. Yes, that's it. Any questions for that one? No. That's it.
All right, so we're back on the ride. Just want to share a few expectations for us. We're raising our hands when someone is sharing out loud. We're respecting each other's voices. We're listening carefully to the speakers to see what we can learn. We're keeping our hands to ourselves and sitting in an upright position where we're not kicking our buddies. So as scientists, we like to collaborate and build on each other's ideas. So today you guys went onto your centers, and I know there was a lot of information out there. So I want you guys to think about one thing you want to share or one thing you learned, and talk to your partner about it. So you can use the sentence frame, I learned blank, or I observed blank. All right, so let's do 1 minute and share with your partner real quick. Go.
I
learned that Roxy-
happy things.
I learned
And I
that.
Plankton
Some birds have
different
characteristics.
So that's
not
the
only thing
All right, pass.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. All right, so does anyone want to share what their partner said? Anyone? Sophie?
My partner said that plankton and sharks have different, what was the word?
Characteristics.
Oh yeah, characteristics.
Ooh, I love that. Characteristics. Okay. Anyone else want to share an interesting fact they learned? Angelique?
Jessica said that animals use different parts of their body to help them move in the water.
Okay, so parts of body. I like that you guys are really focusing on observing the structure of things. Any other volunteers? No? Okay. So, some fun facts I want to share to you guys about plankton are that they're quite small. Did you guys notice that? Just give me a thumbs up if you did. They live in the top layer of the ocean. So I have an image here. Is this the plankton? No. Is this the plankton?
No.
What about this one?
Yeah.
This is the top layer of the ocean. All right, so then they also supply the entire food chain of the open sea. Can you believe these little tiny creatures supply most of the animals in the sea? They also produce 80% of the Earth's oxygen we breathe. 80%, that's a big number. They are also armored with spines. Did somebody notice their armor on the outside? Did it look like they have spines? All right, so then they're organisms that drift with water currents. Like we practiced before, drift is one of our vocabulary words. And today I want you guys to focus on these vocab words. It's drift, float, and sink. Okay?